Hello, viewers. Welcome to Tanks Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development for today's items only. The investment we're going to talk today will be Ethereum taking ETH. First, want to say happy Tuesday, everybody. With a great week so far. Respect to recording time of 8:17 a.m. on the Eastern Time. Ethereum currently trading $3,807, down about 0.42% so far. Respect to overall crypto market is relatively flat today. Besides Algorand, seems like it's kind of up slightly, up about 1.38% so far. Ahead of the respect to the Bitcoin ETF debut, that's expected to happen today. As you know, on Tuesday, today's the initialization date. It seems like despite the ETF anticipatory pressure that we've been having so far, it seems like it's just kind of flat, not doing much. We just waiting for how the market's going to decide how the volatility is going to be playing out going forward. But based on the investment sentiment that we've been hearing across the media front, and also just a lot of crypto fund managers on their depictions around like the buy the rumors, sell the news type of affectation, it seems like this is something that we've been seeing the last couple of days so far. And as today occurred, we have to keep a close eye on how that momentum will trend going forward, right? And also on the technical front, it is confirming. I wasn't really confirming, like foreshadowing some sort of a sell-off coming because of the curvature on the MACD, which we have talked about a while back, right? And also with respect to the RSI scale, seems like we're still leaning more of an overbought level. So this is another incentive to potentially pop the balloon, if you may, right? The buy the rumor, sell the news affectation, despite the market imbalance that will subsequently be created, stem from obviously the Bitcoin ETF drag effect onto the market, right? So, with respect to the news I've been collecting so far, I'm not going to the gym today. I just have a ton of meetings, so I want to, gather my body, gather my energy, and prepare for the long day ahead of me. So, with respect to the first one, Decrypt 26 minutes ago, talking about Tether, lending stable coins backed by Bitcoin, Ethereum, per Celsius CEO. Seems like this is something that the CEO of Celsius, which is a crypto-backed platform, is putting a stamp of approval for Tether lending. And obviously with the stamp of approval from the value proposition of Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So a good news for more type of pseudo adoption or utilization from obviously the two coins, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the next one is talk about Bazinga 5 hours ago. Talk about Jim Cramer, from his Jim Cramer is the CNBC host, and he has a show called Mad Money that happens after market hours around like 5:30 p.m. on the Eastern Time. Basically like an hour and like an hour and 30 minutes after the market closed. And per yesterday's show, he said something about are we in the peak of crypto, right? And he gave us a little bit of a color around that. He actually trimmed a part of his Ethereum position ahead of the Bitcoin futures ETF launch, which is technically today, right, on Tuesday, per various different media front that has been mentioning this, right? And this is something that has also been confirmed by the Pantera CEO, which, Pantera, just to give you a high level understanding, is one of the largest crypto fund in the US, right? And they currently hold a majority of shares in Bitcoin and Ethereum and other altcoin, if you may. So it seems like, Jim Cramer believes that would be a potential, effect that we will see in the market. And I think we have been seeing that right now. So we have to keep an eye out on. I do agree, with this potential effect. But I think what's really confirming is the technical analysis that we've been talking about, that the market imbalance with respect to being overbought, it just makes sense to do so. And also on top of the fact that with respect to the market cycle, we are, for us to sustain a rally going forward, we need to go down to the anger and depression stage. In order for the monetary circulations to be incentivized to go back into the thrill euphoria, etc., right? And the next one's on the news. On Bazinga 10 hours ago, talk about DraftKings, which is a sports betting platform. And the article is basically saying, like, could DraftKings expand its NFT partnership, give another boost to Ethereum Layer 2 solutions, Polygon? So it seems like this is more related to talk about the NFT commercialization. Seems like DraftKings is contemplating on giving another shot to do so. So good to know, but is it really something substantive? It seems like there are more pseudo utilization for NFT commercialization, and with more utilization, basically equivalent to more burn rates for Ethereum, knowing the fact that it stems from the value proposition of Ethereum, and that technically will drive more supply and demand dynamic imbalance, which aka will correlate to a surging of a price level, right? Which is something we appreciate. But DraftKings is a large company. The stocks has been experiencing some relatively strong volatility, but is one of the I would say premier type of betting software, I guess, or infrastructure, and they have great ties with the NFL and with respect to NBA as well. So it's a good company that, with this type of approval, definitely give us, investors that are more long term, some confidence, if you may. So that's pretty much it on the news front. Let's take a look at the technicals. Again, right, with respect to Ethereum, we are still struggling, right? We are trying to get to the next level of 3,843, which the pink thing is covering it right now. Despite that, we are still basically hovering between the levels, right? 3,472, 3,843. And right now we form a well-back curvature ahead of the debut of obviously the Bitcoin ETF. We are still overbought, right? 65 out of 70. So the sell-off, it's I would say is imminent because of the fact that it's overbought on all levels. We're forming a negative curve well back that coming back down to 3,450. And as we get there, I think we ideally would deplete back to like the 50s. And if we are going to deplete even more to, let's just say, depression anger stage, I think technically the 3,150 wouldn't be not the most like illogical. I think it's very logical that we'll potentially get to there, and that could be like a semi-bottom. If we even get more severe of a sell-off, let's just say we completely get gutted, 3,000 would be a very logical level. 2,750 could be a stretch, but we'll have to see. With respect to Bitcoin, I think the wellback's comparable. We have formed this long durations of a cross section for this this golden cross that we form here. So this has been just mainly driven by public investors forming into the anticipatory pressure for the Bitcoin ETF, right? We're extremely overbought. You could see how much air we're currently covering right now. We are 78 out of 70. Right, we're trading at the 62,295, basically ahead of the ETF debut, right? So something to be mindful of. Whatever goes up really fast comes down just as fast, and this is more prominent by showing it like this, right? And you can see that right now we don't really have any substantive platform for us to sustain. So ideally, the real substantive level, firstly, would be somewhere around like the 47, which is, you can see a bunch of platform that would form here. So this would be technically the first level, but I would just probably wait off because this is relatively bloody, and I think coming back down to 43, again, whatever goes up really fast comes down just as fast, right? So we have to be extra careful with this. So Dogecoin, we are still overbought. Despite the surge that we saw yesterday, it was relatively short-lived. You could see that we match with this red candle here at the 27.22, and we immediately sold back down because this was mainly driven by FOMO and public investors. So I think coming down to ideally to the 21 to the 20 cents would be better level. Cardano, we are having a lag effect still. So I think with respect to do we see more sell-off? I think so, because we are on the opposite side of the chart on a MACD perspective, right? So we are still at the normalized type of OK zone, not like too super overbought, or super underbought either. So I think ideally coming down to the 205 would be the logical level to buy. And I think right now it's not a bad level either. So feel free to like maybe have a little taste, maybe 15% of your cash holding wouldn't be a bad idea. Solana is I think the bullishness is still kind of contemplating at the moment. We just formed a dev cross recently. This is the reason why we kind of slide down a little bit. We need to wait until it comes back up and we have still some room to go up, right? With 54 out of 70. So I think ideally going up to the 177 or close to 200 would be ideal. XRP right now we're just basically struggling below the $110 mark, right? I think ideally because of the fact that we're forming a dev cross right now, 51 out of 70, going to a 101 would be more logical. Polkadot, I think we're going to see some major sell-off because of the huge wellback, and at the same time we're still overbought. So I think ideally by the 32 would be the bare minimum, and then the 25 would be the next level. And I think for me, I'll just probably wait until 25 for me to even feel comfortable buying, because these are basically levitation right now. Algorand, I think Algorand's gonna see some sell-off as well, but not as like severe as Polkadot that we just saw earlier. I think right now, because of the fact that we're slowly fusing together, dev cross is definitely coming. We're at the 52. I think selling down to somewhere around like the 170 first, and then ideally 160, basically 150, 160, and 150. Sorry, 170, 160, and 150. There we go. And then the last one here, it seems like Shiba Inu is freezing. There we go. Alright, so with respect to Shiba Inu, it seems like the thing is glitching a little bit. Okay, there we go. So it seems like we form a dev cross, right? And right now we're still overbought, right? And we're floating at the 2813 right now, which is basically consolidation, right? But beside that consolidation zone, we don't have anything below this. You see this like mega green candle, these are mainly just driven by whales. So knowing the fact that we cross down and cross up immediately, so we might see another surge, right? And then we might see a relatively large, like a bull trap, if you may, and then sell us back down. So definitely be careful because we still overbought. I would not touch Shiba Inu at the moment. I don't think there's a strong level of substantiveness for this asset. So I think because of the fact we have this huge wellback already, and the more real consolidation zone is somewhere around like the frankly the 779 or like the 800 flat, right? We still have a long way to go, and this is a gap that we need to be filled. So definitely be careful. Do not chase in for Shiba Inu at the moment. So with respect to the market cycle, we are still within this stage, right? Again, right, it's not the most straightforward. It's quite convoluted because of the whale manipulations. But we need to go through this cycle of anger, depression, disbelief, for us to go back into the refresh, right? And with respect to the price targets, these are the identified levels that I personally would like to risk mitigate and dollar cost average. Again, this is my personal reference. It's not for everybody. So feel free to use this as your, frame of risk aversion, if you may. But hopefully this is helpful into giving you more of a clarity about how I think about it. And feel free to give me a shout if you have any questions. And stay tuned for this to come up. Take care. Bye.